Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to start the body work. So as you can see, it's still in the way though. We took it off the frame. It's a little bit dirty right now, and there are quite the number of dents and dings throughout the truck, on the bed here, on the pillars, on the door. So before we actually take it apart, we are going to take it outside and give it a nice bath, so that way we can clearly see where all the dents and dings are, so that way once we get the paint on there, we don't miss any dings or dents. That way everything is nice and straight. So I'm going to take it out, take a bath, and then we'll come back in here, mark off all the dents, and then start disassembling it and start doing the body work and prepping it for paint. Okay, now that we got everything stripped off of the ram, it's time to start sanding and to prep everything for the Bondo work. You may be wondering why I have all this blue tape everywhere throughout here. This is pretty much, I do this for myself because once I start sanding and this starts getting dirty again, you know, the big obvious stuff I'm gonna see, but the tape is mostly to help me know that there's small dents here. Since we're gonna paint this, we don't want to leave any dents, because it wouldn't make sense to do all that and have little dents left over for a fresh paint job. So as you can see, I mean, there's dents all over this bed, all over the tailgate. Same thing here. This one's even worse. I mean, not even including what we had to fix. You know, it's just got dents everywhere. This door's got dents everywhere. The sail panels up here all have dents. So we marked all that off so I don't miss anything. That way once the paint job is done, we don't have to go back and redo it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this door. I'm not going to take any chances, because when we were using the wire wheel on this, it ripped off the paint here and it still smelled like paint. It shouldn't do that if it was dried all the way through. I'm not taking any chances on it. I'm going to strip this red paint completely off down to the black color that it was. We'll fix this and we'll prime the whole door. That way our job will be 100%. Once we're done, nothing's going to happen with it. It's going to stay exactly the way it is. So let's get to work. And then once I get this all taken care of, once I get it sanded, get some Bondo on this, I'll take the door completely off, because it's going to be a lot easier to work on it now versus on a stand flopping around. Then once I do that, I'll take the whole door off, we'll sand the inside of it, and we'll keep going from there. So this one's a bare shell. This should be a lot lighter now to take on and off. So we'll keep going. Okay, so we got our guille. I'm going to start off with 180 grit. I prefer to use the lightest grit that works best. I don't like to go into it too heavy. For me personally, it creates a little bit more work. So I like to use the least aggressive that will work and not cause me too much time and work to get this done. So I'm going to start off with the 180. If it's taking too long, we'll switch down to the 80 grit. That is definitely not a good bond. So, good thing we went this route, because that had a really good possibility after we would have put our paint on there that it would have done something that we didn't want it to do or start falling off. Looks like I'm gonna have to go with the scraper because it's a really thick layer on there. So I'm gonna go with the scraper and then I'll hit it back again with the sandpaper. Okay, so finally got this door stripped. As you can see, this is the paint. We wound up using a razor blade that I think saved me a lot more time trying to go over with the DA because the layer was super thick. It was a real pain, but better off doing this now versus after all the work is done and then I got to redo it again. So I got this done. I'm gonna hit it with the DA now, fill in a couple of spots here that had some damage to it, and then we'll take the door off. That way we can continue prepping the rest of it. Alright, so we had a little bit of a high spot here, and I kept on knocking it with the hammer and everything, and you know, it was just flexing, but I couldn't get that high spot out of there, so just decided to take the die grinder and take it down, and it looks like there's there's bodywork underneath here, and that's what was causing something that felt like a body line, but this is supposed to be completely smooth. So I ground this down, and then I'll just it'll give me room for the filler to lay in there, and then that way I can make it nice and smooth. But I mean, it's got a dent here, a little dent here, so I'm probably gonna wind up doing this whole area so we can feather it out, so that way you can't see the body work that's being done here. So keep going. Alright, so I'm having a great time putting all this body filler on here. Not the best at it, takes me forever, but making some good progress on it. Already got this side of the bed all straightened out where I'm pretty happy with it. There's still a little spot there, gotta touch that up. But I mean, the more I look at it, the more I found dents on it. I mean, just all over. If I'm gonna paint it, might as well get rid of everything to make it right. Got all this done. This took some time to shape to get this body line back in there, but the rest of the bed, door's already looking good. Took this door off, that way I can focus on this A-pillar. Still got a little bit more work left on there, couple of low spots, but it's moving along. And this front piece that we fixed, still haven't gotten to it, but once I finish that stuff, I'll knock this out for the last time, and hopefully I can get some primer on it and block it out pretty soon. been a little bit since it's been probably a good almost a year since I've held a spray gun. So, and this got a little hard, so we're gonna mix it up real good. I'll open it up, make sure the consistency is right. If not, then I'll have to buy a new kit of primer. Alright, so I'm really not liking this, and I spent that much time getting that ready. I'm not about to mess it up just because I want to spray it tonight, so we'll go buy some tomorrow morning and just do it tomorrow morning, and we'll start sanding it towards the end of the day. Alright, so next morning we got our new kit. We use a Dtm Primer. It's a 2K primer, 4:1 mixing ratio. Like this primer, it works pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to take our mixing cup. Got the 4:1 mixing ratio here. We got quite a bit to prime, so I'm just going to make a full cup. And I like to put just a little bit of reducer in there. I think it helps the primer flow out a little bit more, so that way it's more even and there's a lot less texture to sand out of it. Do it. A little rusty, so I'm gonna try it on this piece of cardboard, help me set up my gun. I think that should be good. We'll adjust as we go. I think we'll just start on this door. Got they call this a paper toilet filter because you don't have, instead of buying the expensive refill cartridges that are made for this, roll of toilet paper fits in there perfectly and it works just as good, but way less. So, alright, so let's get some primer on this door. Okay, so we have finally got all the primer on there. It's all dried out. Everything looks, the bodywork and everything with the primer on there looks pretty good. Everything's nice and straight. The door I was most worried about because we were using that razor blade to get all that old paint off of there. So everything looks good on there. All the bodywork here, you can't feel any high spots, so that all turned out good. And as you guys saw earlier, I mean, it had dents all over the truck, so the majority of it got primer on it, got bodywork. This turned out real good. So that was pretty mangled. We got the door. We got the A-pillar here. That turned out good. So a couple of small little imperfections, but I think that should block out with the primer. And we got this piece that we cut out and knocked out and welded back in. So that turned out good. Yeah, the rail we still gotta fix up, but I'm planning to put undercoating on there anyway, so we didn't need it done for the paint process. Overall, really happy with how everything's turning out. And that's it for this episode. And make sure to catch our next episode. We will be prepping all this primer and the rest of the body on the truck for the paint process. And we were planning to rent a paint booth to do this in a paint booth. It's not working out. It's too long of a wait, and whether they're going to be able to get us in and not. And so we just decided to not wait, and we're just going to paint it right in the shop here, and we'll just see what happens. And I think it should be good. But otherwise, that's it for this episode. You guys make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment, tell us if we did anything wrong, if there's a better way to do something. Always open to opinions to learn how to do something a better way. So don't forget to catch the next video, and we'll see you in the next episode.